So this is going to be a very hands-on session. I'm going to be talking and doing a lecture, but it's really going to be, for the most part, you actually writing some Python yourself. So I hope you're ready to kind of like hands-on keyboard. You'll come out of this with sort of the first half of the data app that we're going to build. Built, published, shareable, ready to go. So what we're going to cover in this workshop is sort of what Python can do for data analysis, how to identify when you might want to use Python. We're going to talk about how to read Python code, understand what it's doing. And most importantly, we're going to write and edit sort of we're going to start pretty simple with some Python code that you can use for data analysis. Talk a little bit about how to figure out what functions you need, when you might need them, and just kind of the basic foundations with an analytics focus. There's a lot you can do with Python. You can write whole websites, whole apps, etc. in this language. We are not going to cover that in this class. There are, I'm sure, semester-long courses at this university that you can take on that topic. We're also not going to be focused on having you memorize every little bit of syntax. I want to use this workshop to give you a taste of what you could do with Python, get you some practice at actually doing it, and then you can kind of go from there. So not about memorizing and not about going fully in depth. Just a little bit about why I am here teaching you Python. I have been working in the data analytics space for the last 10 years or so, and I currently work at a startup where I'm the director of data science, and we work in the sort of podcast advertising space, so media adjacent for any journalism media folks in the room. And I use SQL, Python, Excel, all of these tools in my job every day. And I'm teaching workshops on all those topics. This is the Digital Lounge. So hopefully, if you're interested in any of those other topics, you can check them out on the website. We have an Excel one starting tonight and SQL later this semester if you're interested in learning. All right. So before we get started, I just want to get a sense of what folks' exposure to Python has been. Maybe we could just get like a hand in the air, 1 to 5. 1 is you've never used it before. 5 is you can already write a bunch of Python code. Could I just get some like 1 to 5s going on so I can kind of see where we're at? Okay, seeing some 1, 2s, 3s, some unsure. Okay, great, totally fine. If you're a total beginner, this is going to be good for you. I've just designed this to kind of start from the beginning, give you some little bits to build on. And if you have a little bit of exposure, hopefully this is a refresher, maybe a few new things. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be pretty interactive today. So I have a tool called Hex. It's the same tool I use every day at my job, which is why I like to use it for this class. It's kind of similar to a Tableau or a Looker if you've used any of these sort of data visualization tools, but it's more built to use with Python and with SQL. It also saves you from installing anything on your computer for this class. It's all through the web browser. So what you're going to do is go to this link, Digital Lounge Python.card with 2 R's.co, no M. Actually, the link I should have here. That link, this shorter link here, is going to take you to a little landing page which has the invite link to join our Hex workspace. So you should, when you go to that website, you should get a little page like this, which has 2 important links you'll need for today. First one is your Hex invite link. All right, that's the first one you're going to hit, and you're going to sign in with your USC login. You can use your USC Google account, your USC Microsoft account, or just your USC email, whatever you prefer. But go ahead and do that first. That'll give you an invite to join our Digital Lounge workspace. All right. Once you've done that, then you can hit this button, which will take you to our tutorial for today, so you can kind of follow along. If there's folks in here who have a little bit more Python experience, everything we're going to do today is written out. So if you want to go ahead a little bit, we're doing some intro stuff, feel free. Okay, so when you're in Hex, it should see something like this. I think mine's in dark mode, yours might be in light mode, but you should see something called Spring 2026, Python Part 1, make a copy. That is the thing you were looking for. If you don't see that when you first sign in, you can hit projects on the left-hand side, and that should bring it to the top for you. Once you find that, don't click on it. Don't click on it. You're going to hover, and you're going to hit the dot, dot, dot right here, which is going to give you the option to duplicate. All right, dot, 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 and then duplicate. That makes a copy of sort of our little template for today. It's just going to preload a little data for you. And then from there on, it's your own copy. So you can add stuff, try stuff, delete stuff, whatever you want to do in your own copy of our work. Okay, I know that's a couple steps, so I'm going to give everyone a moment. Again, what you should do is go to this link. It's on the whiteboard and here at the bottom of the slide, digital-lounge-python.card2rs.co. If you get prompted to join a specific workspace, I think it should auto join you, but you should join Annenberg Digital Lounge with your USC email. Once you are in there, you're looking for this guy, Spring 2026, and you're going to hit ... duplicate. I just got a little wave if anyone's done that successfully. Okay, couple thumbs up. Okay, great. If you're stuck, if you have an error, if it's not letting you in there, give me a shout and I will help you out. The other thing you should do is you should hit this button, which is going to take you to our tutorial for today, which should look something like this. Got my Excel tutorials over here also on the same site. You can hide those out of the way. We are going to be focusing on our Python part 1 section for today. Okay, great. So once you have your copy of this, I'm going to go ahead and make a copy to demo with you all today. Call this Rachel's copy. Okay, great. Once you have your hex copy, you can name it something with your name just so you remember. You're going to want to hit this run all button at the top, this pink little play icon that says run all. That's going to run the tiny bit of starter code that I have in here for you all, which again is just going to load some data for you. Okay, fabulous. Okay, so I'm going to do just a little bit of background on Python before we actually get our hands in there and start writing. What is Python? It is a programming language. It's commonly used for scripting, and that's often how it's used in an analytics context. Scripting is just a term that means writing a little bit of code for a task without coding an entire application or an entire website. This is very, very common in data analysis. Python is used by all sorts of folks, software engineers, data scientists, data analysts, but also folks who maybe do a little bit of less sort of data focused work in their roles, but just occasionally need to grab some data. Python's one of the more kind of accessible tools that you can use if this isn't your full-time focus. So if you're a marketing analyst or something like that, or you're working with a team that includes some data analysts, this is one of the tools that you might find yourself using. It'd be helpful to know what you use. I just included a little dot from python.org. Python is all about automating repetitive tasks. All right, that's the other piece of value. Once you know how to do something in Python, or once you write a chunk of code to do something in Python, you can use that chunk of code on other data sets as well. So that's where you get a lot of value as you go. All right, so we are primarily going to be interacting with Python with data in data frames. Okay, a data frame is basically just one set of pieces of information stored in rows and columns. You can think of a data frame as one page of a spreadsheet, for example. Okay, so you're going to have columns across the top that are going to be different types of information, and then each row is one thing in your data frame, one entity. So you could imagine if we had a data frame of student data, there might be columns for your student ID number, your name, your address, etc. And then there would be a row for each one of the students in this class. Some of the things we're going to be doing with Python, we're going to be manipulating data frames. So I've loaded some data that we're going to use for today from the 2024 Paris Olympics. Don't know if anyone's watching the current Olympics, but went back a couple of years and grabbed some Paris data that we can play around with. We'll be doing some basic kind of manipulation of that data. So we'll be editing, doing some transformation, etc. And then what we'll get more into next week, or in our next session, what's really powerful is using Python to join multiple data sources together. Right? If you ever read any sort of data journalism-based news article, for example, a lot of the interesting insights that folks are able to gather comes from joining multiple data sets